Hi, I'm Tim Nichols from MrMaple.com. We greatly appreciate you taking time to watch this video. Please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. We'll add 10 fun, new, and exciting trees every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's something you'll definitely want to check out. Also, please share this with your gardening friends. That's how others learn about us, and we can share our love for gardening. So we really appreciate that by using your word of mouth to help others know about our nursery and what we do. Today, we're going to be touring one of our conifer houses. And we know people have been wanting to come to our nursery for a while. We've been closed. So we decided we're going to give you a tour of one of our conifer houses where it gives something fun, exciting to look at right now during the winter.
So here we have this fun Bosnian pine called Satellite. It's a more columnar form overall and a really good grower. I've been really impressed by this one.
Yeah, it's one of the plants that I like just because it's got that narrow habit. You can fit narrow plants in a lot of small spaces. The landscape and garden is ever shrinking, and this is a great plant that will add some vertical interest, evergreen interest, for the winter garden.
Let's check out this conifer house and kind of look around a little bit.
As you can see, everything down through here in the greenhouses, you see all that evergreen.
Hey, let's take a look at this sapphire nymph. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is a selection that was found by Pat McCracken. It's a dwarf blue atlas cedar. I can pick that up and show a little bit of what the size is on those.
Some really good sizes on these right now too.
Yeah, and one thing to always keep in mind whenever you're looking at all these plants, we're looking at these plants on January 2022. So if you're buying these plants, a year later, they're going to be a different size. Some of these could be bigger, some of these could be smaller. And so just keep that in mind when we're looking at these plants. But right now in January 2022, this is a look at our greenhouses.
Yeah, I love this sapphire nymph. I think it's a great plant. I like it. Really brings the color.
Yeah, I like it because you get that blue color in a small space. And other plants that give that blue color, we've got the Hortsman here. And Hortsman is another blue atlas cedar that gives a very upright shape, a lot taller than the sapphire nymphs. And this is a plant that Matt and I have grown to love, these Thuga plicata sienna sunsets, also known as Aniacs.
Yeah, I like this plant. It's, gosh, I think when we open in person, we're going to sell out of every single one of these in like 2 seconds because they just look so cool. I think it's a perfect container plant. It's going to be one you're going to love in the patio garden. As all conifers, you want to give it a little bit more sunlight, so you want to make sure this one's getting at least 4 to 5 hours of sun for its best colors. We're here in the winter coloration on these. They really go through some sunset type colors in the spring as well. So it's going to be kind of a more chartreuse green with a little bit of that red tinge to the ends of it. But I really like this plant. I think it's just an excellent container garden plant for sure, but a lot of good purposes in the conifer garden. We got some great pics of this one too if you want to check those out. They're right there in that Buy Conifer section on Mr. Maple.
Yeah, they're just so soft, and it's fun to just go up and touch them. They make a perfect little round ball. They look like a little animal almost. And with the spring colors, you'll have to check that out on their page for Aniac. It's a pretty awesome plant. This is one of my favorite dwarf conifers. This is Pinus sylvestris mosseri. or sometimes called Mosera. We often laugh and say this should have been called yellow penguin. Green penguin is one of our most popular dwarf pines, and this one has the exact same shape, very, very dwarf and small. It'll get about 3 feet tall by about 1.5 feet wide in 10 years, but it gives that yellow winter interest. And so it's a plant that's really spectacular. The more cold it gets during the winter, you get more and more of the bright, bright yellow color on the needles of this dwarf pine. It's a fun one that adds a lot of color in a small space.
Yeah, it has very long needles to it, which are nice. And pair this one with that green penguin Tim was talking about. It makes a perfect little Christmas tree in the winter months. It's going to be green like the green penguin a lot during the middle of the summer, but in the winter it really lights up. It gets to that bright highlighter yellow and just really creates a splash in the garden. And this is another one that's really, great for container gardening. I mean, this is a perfect candidate for a small pot.
And some fantastic sizes on these. These are probably 2.5 year 1 gallons. And so they've definitely got a lot of size to them as compared to a typical 1 year 1 gallon.
So here's a few more conifers that make a big splash in that spring garden. This is Uncle Wiley. I love this one for the spring color especially. We're here in the winter months, of course. We just started January. Actually, Happy New Year's. We just started January. I think today's the 2nd. And you're going to love this one in the spring garden, though. It really puts on some amazing flushes. This was found as a witch's broom.
Yeah, it's a pretty new witch's broom, but it's really fun because of its dense, compact habit.
Yeah, it's a nice, dense one overall. Makes a nice little ball shape to it. And just some really nice color patterns for sure. I got the right color on today for the conifer house for sure. A big background like me, you can see some of these plants with this neon orange. These are gold drift, which is a Passia abies we really like. Just a beautiful plant. We're getting a little bit cooler this week. These will start getting a little bit more of that bright yellow to them in the winter months for sure.
I love gold drift. It was a selection by Robert Fincham, one of our friends. And this weeping golden spruce is amazing. It's one of the plants that just puts on such a fun display of golden color. You want to give this some sunlight to really peak up that golden color on it, because it sort of gets those right where the sunlight hits it. It has that golden sort of blush to it. But this is one of my favorite all-time conifers.
For sure, it's a great one. Some beautiful specimens of this out there too. We'll throw in some pics of that, but just a really fun plant to have in your garden. Hey, I'm over here with some Cedrus deodora miles high. This is a beautiful cedrus that's going to have some upright growth with some branches weeping down. I love this one. The colors are spectacular. I need to get a good specimen photo, so a lot of you guys are so nice and let us use your photos sometime. So if you got a great photo of miles high, shoot me a Facebook message sometime. Our photo right now is just of our 1 gallons, but as you can see, they're an excellent size right now. So they really capture some of the beauty of these going on, and a really good deal at this size as well.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the Cedrus deodora is it develops a central leader. So you see it develops that central leader that goes upwards, but the side branches are weeping. And so it gets a really narrow profile, but a very unique shape in that narrow profile.
Yeah, no two of these look exactly alike. They make a really unique shape as they form older trees. I've seen some beautiful specimens, and I've got to get some better pictures of that, get out to some gardens with these that didn't capture it. But that Cedrus deodora miles high. Definitely check that one out in our Buy Conifers section there on MrMaple.
Check out the size of this pine. We've got some really large 1 gallons right now. This is Pinus nigra Arnold Sentinel. It's a very narrow growing Austrian pine that was introduced by the Arnold Arboretum.
Yeah, a lot of our photos from this one are in Missy Galloway's garden. She has a beautiful garden here in western North Carolina. You know, maybe we'll have to get out there and do a little shoot and kind of cover some of the conifers she's grown out there. It's a spectacular garden, and certainly some of the photos you'll see in this are from Missy's garden. So if you're watching Missy, we'll definitely say hello and hope you're having a good New Year. She has just an amazing collection.
Yeah, and this one is one that's just, again, one of those pines that fits in those narrow spaces. So it gives you a lot of nice evergreen vertical interest in the winter garden. And it's great to pair with a lot of Japanese maples, especially some of those dwarf weeping selections. One.
So here we have another of my favorite columnar conifers. This is DeGroot Spire. This is an excellent conifer for that tall, narrow habit to it. Our picture on our website of this, one of the main ones, is at Dr. Criticos' house, and he has aligning some columns, and it just really brings out, you know, the architecture of the house, and it really shows off how columnar and narrow this plant is.
Yeah, I really like the DeGroot Spire because it gives a similar shape as like an emerald green, but a much more narrow profile. And so basically it takes up less of your garden space, but still gives an evergreen block or adds that vertical interest in the landscape.
We produce conifers a lot of different ways here. A lot of the pines specifically are grafted. This being a Thuja occidentalis, this is actually a rooted cutting, so that's how this one's done. Makes just a great plant in the landscape, and it's an evergreen that you're going to like, go out and take pictures of, especially in those winter months, because it's just, you know, right there, very, very much that columnar, narrow habit. And I like when people use these as a screen. So sometimes people will use multiples of these to provide a small fencing area, but as they grow together, it kind of makes a really nice screen as well.
Yeah, they're definitely nice because they don't take up as much of your yard, but you have to use more of them because they're narrower.
For sure. So here's Tim with one of our favorite golden pines this winter.
Yeah, you may have been watching some of our employee profiles where we're talking to some of our people who work at MrMaple. Jackson recently said this was one of his favorite trees, and it's no wonder when he's been here during the winter months and the spring. This has just the most electric yellow color to it, really giving a nice golden winter color, and it's really gold through most of the year, but those winter months it really electrifies. And this makes a nice upright tree, but gives you some amazing, amazing yellow color in the landscape and garden.
Yeah, they're just unreal colors this time of year. You can see Tim's holding our 1 gallon and our 2 gallons. We have multiple sizes of this one in stock right now. It's a showstopper though. I mean, I'll get up here a little closer on the colors. They're really just unreal. We'll do a little bit of a close-up look here.
Yeah, it's hard to beat gold coin when it comes to this amazing yellow color it provides in the winter. I like to pair this plant with things like that sapphire nymph or the Hortsman blue atlas cedar, because you get that blue color off of those and then this amazing yellow color, and then what fits perfectly with that, a weeping red Japanese maple that's just going to draw all those colors in and contrast with each other.
So not a conifer, but in our conifer house here, these are a sweet little ilex called Dwarf Pagoda. I love these tight, really small foliage. Makes an excellent rock garden plant or small container plant for sure.
Yeah, this is one that's awesome for bonsai, rock gardens, conifer gardens, little containers, or just one to have a nice little evergreen interest in the landscape.
Yeah, we love these. They make a great accent plant, and they really just fit anywhere. Being a small overall habit to them, they're just perfect for that winter garden for sure.
Yeah, I like them. There's something that's very unique, very different, and they really pair well with the conifers and the maples.
Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. We greatly appreciate you taking a look at it. That was a quick look at one of our conifer houses here. If you're looking at those 10 at 10 emails, you're definitely going to see a lot of conifer content, especially in these winter months. We like to hit you with some of that evergreen stuff that's going to be exciting and in leaf all year. So we hope you enjoyed this quick look at our conifer house. As Tim said earlier, like, subscribe, share. We're always going to ask you those things because they're so important to this channel. We greatly appreciate you subscribing to the Mr. Maple Show here on YouTube. We've actually made a dedicated Facebook page. Our old Nichols Nursery Facebook page is now the Mr. Maple Show and podcast. So we're going to be working on some podcasts coming up soon with maple-oriented content. I've actually created an Instagram page as well for the Mr. Maple Show. So follow those. You're going to get kind of a behind-the-scenes look there about the process of just the nursery here and some maple travel, just cool maple-related content that may not be product-related, but kind of just nursery in general. And some cool behind-the-scenes stuff too, we hope, like a look at our staff and things like that. So we greatly appreciate that, and definitely check those things out. Thanks for clicking on this video. God bless and have a great day.